Now, I briefly explain about all the 4 types. The first one, this is a class. Let us take it as outer. Already I told you, outer classes are known as top level classes. Do not confuse. When multiple words are used for same element, you must remember all the elements, otherwise you feel that it is totally a different element. So, this is the outer class, and within that we have defined one inner class. This is also a class. Okay, this is also a class. Okay. Now, this is the outer class, and within that we have defined another class, and what is the difference here? Here static is there, here non-static. It is nothing is mentioned here. As I told you already, a member can be static member or non-static member. Non-static member is called instance member, otherwise static member. Static member should be declared with a static modifier, that you know. Now, when a class is defined within the body of another class, what is its status? Is a member of the outer class or top level class. Then it may be an instance member or static member. So, in this case you can treat this one as the instance member. In this case you can treat it as a static member. So, we must have both, generally call as these are being nested, we can generally call them as nested classes, but for the sake of differentiation, what you call them instance nested classes, you call them inner classes. Static nested classes you call as nested classes. Hereafter, whenever I use the word nested class, then you have to understand it is a static nested class. If whenever I use inner class, then you have to understand it is a instance nested class, that you have to understand, because this differentiation if you do not maintain and all that, lot of confusion is created. If I use generally, you can use nested classes because it is very easy to understand. Specifically if you are talking, you call them instance nested classes as inner classes, static nested classes as static classes or nested classes. That differentiation always you follow 2 types, inner classes, nested classes. Third type, local classes. Actually, local classes means within a method definition you may define a class definition. Within the body of the method the program may define, there you may create a class, and you may create objects out of that, and you may return it. That need may be there. Such need comes and all that within a body of the method. Where method is placed? A method is placed within a class. A method in Java, in object oriented programming, methods cannot be placed outside. Method should be placed within the body of a class. So, within the body of the method, if you place a class, it is called local class. Okay. Thereafter, we study that what are the features, limitations and all that. Sometimes actually for one time use purpose, you can define a local class within the method. Only one time use, you do not use it recurrently. In such case, without giving a name, you can define a local class, that is called anonymous class. So, first remember, first one inner classes, that is instance nested classes. Second one nested classes, those are static nested classes. Third one local classes. Local classes are defined within the body of the method of a class, and without giving a name for a local class, if you define within the method, it is called the anonymous class. Anonymous class are meant for using only one time, not recurrently. So, in this way you remember the classification. Thereafter, accessibility. Let us focus on the accessibility. Inner to outer. Actually, I briefed it. Inner class being a member of the outer class, it can access all the members of the outer class including the private members. That point you remember. What is the status of outer class? Outer class can access all the members, all the non-private members, all the non-private members of the inner class. Outer class, just remember that, simply you make a note. Inner class can access all the members of the outer class including private members. As far as outer class is concerned, it can access all non-private members of the inner class. Okay, that point you must remember. Thereafter, modifiers are concerned. Actually, here an inner class or nested class is enjoying dual status. That is why being a member, it is a class by itself and it is a member of the outer class. So, a set of modifiers which are applicable to members are applicable to nested classes or inner classes. They are final, static, private, public, protected, default, abstract. All these modifiers are applicable to nested classes. Nested class means you have to understand the inner classes. For them, all these modifiers, once again, final, abstract, private, public, protected, default. But if you put to static, it will become again a nested class. The difference you know. So, you must remember all these points. Thereafter, one more thing I have to tell you. It may be an inner class, then but originally it is a class. That is why it can extend another class. That means it may be a subclass of another class and it can implement another one or more interfaces also. So, a nested class can extend other class or otherwise can implement one or more interfaces. That point also you must remember.